I'm a big fan of music. I I think it's one of the best ways that I've known to learn from somebody else's experience and from somebody else's perspective. And it's a great thing because I got to understand a lot of things that way, and I got to live a lot of good experiences. Not all of the time, but most of the time over decisions that were hard to do, or to make, but that end up being a better decision than if I would have taken the other way around, or to choose violence, or to choose deceiving somebody else, or deceiving myself as an option to be at ease with myself. And the intent, the lyrics, the emotion, the arrangement of melodies and instruments, and the purpose of actually making a song that gets to communicate something real, all that drew me in immediately. I've always been a big fan of music. Once told my dad that I wanted to be either a musician or a soccer player, but neither of those two ended up happening, right? Because I had to study something that was going to leave me with enough economic resources to justify a apparently successful existence. And I think that's kind of the problem that we're facing right now. I mean, I'm also a big fan of stand-up comedy, and I recently saw a comedian named Pete Holmes. Brilliant guy. He speaks of things like with such ease and with such a benevolent intent. I feel like he's being genuine. Hopefully, I'm not wrong. Or we wrong before. I mean, but hopefully, I'm getting better at detecting those kind of things. But the thing with that is that I thought of him as lesser because of an impression that I had of him. He used to have a talk show, and whenever he was on the YouTube scrolling that I was going through, he specifically on that show, because it didn't happen for the Comedy Central stuff with the superhero series and the Street Fighter series and all. Those are hilarious. Those are great. I mean, and I think I saw it that way first, and then I saw the talk show. And on the talk show, he's a totally different guy. He goes all the way to the Jimmy Fallon kind of style, like forced or fake, or trying to be liked. And it kind of threw me off of being a fan of his until I actually started. I think once I was just letting YouTube run, and I was doing something else, and one of his videos came in, and he blew my mind at how smart and how insightful and how objective he can be, to his own extent, right? Because he also has some kind of crazy ideas about atheists and what religion is or should be. I mean, I may not agree with him on that, but what really should matter about religion is to teach you about how your life is being wasted, or how you can avoid wasting it by being yourself and loving what you do and loving your family, and actually deciding consciously and with all the intent to be with somebody else and to have a family, not because it has to be done, or somebody expects it from you. If you don't want to get married, why should you? I mean, it's odd and it's strange that we keep on forcing ourselves into those kind of ideas. Like in Spanish, we say "el que no tranza no avanza." It's another kind of stupid idea that I have heard of out of most of the people that are religious that I know, because that's their idea. If you are not fucking somebody over, then you're not going to be successful in life. And that's the predicament that I'm in. Well, not a predicament, because I've thought about it a lot, and I think that that's the real issue here. We keep on calling that success. It doesn't matter who you screw over, as long as you get ahead financially, and by having power or influence in something, or being convenient to be around, or being profitable to be related to. So I take that dichotomy that I have with Pete, that he's one of the best stand-ups that I can actually state that I know, because I hear a lot of stand-up routines, and I'm a big fan of that kind of comedy as well. So it brought me to that understanding of how other people have been trying to let me know through song, through movies, through their own experience, when they spoke to me about things that they already know that are going to happen if you choose a path of least resistance, which usually is the hardest result, or the most undesired result at the end, right? Because when you live that kind of life of privilege and favors and convenience, you don't really get to experience love. And when love is confused with sex, then we have that other problem, right? We're trying to equiparate what love is with what sex is, and they're two totally different things. You are able to love every single person that you know exactly the same way, because that's love. And at the same time, you can avoid being I forgot what I was saying. But the point is that one, you are able to be somebody who is able to understand love. That's the point, right? To understand that love's from that place, from understanding that you are able to be happy about that kind of being with a person, because they chose you as well. And I think that's the most valuable thing about this, because it doesn't really matter what kind of financial success you think that you have, or how much control over somebody else do you have. If you didn't know love while you were alive, or you dedicated yourself to hoarding instead of enjoying life, then what happens in the end is that you keep on justifying your existence on a, maybe after I die everything's going to be better because I made a lot of money in this life. So logically that means that if I die, which is unknown to anybody that I've had the pleasure of speaking to, or that I've kind of tried to learn from, if they can't understand death, then religious people can't either, because their goal, their sole objective as a religion, religare comes from a word meaning that you need to reunite or reconnect. So if you're not doing that, any other kind of success is not going to happen for you, because no matter how much you want to justify your greed and your hoarding as and disguise it as a success, and cover up the mediocrity that it really is, because of your publicity stunts and your all the psychological warfare that you employ to get people to buy your products and to believe your lies, because you're not in it to serve your community, which is the ones who actually give you what you have. You don't mind actually slowly killing them, as long as you can make a profit over a cheaper product that is toxic to us, or that is not as benign as the quality one is. And you'd rather do that for a profit and for your own self satisfaction. And I'm speaking about any kind of people who do this, right? The concept of fame is also very attached to that kind of attitude. So again, we fall back into the dichotomy. You can either be the fake one that we all notice and we don't really like, but we need to be around because they are famous, or they are attention grabbing, or they are able to have their personality help them manipulate people. You could be that. You could be a Jimmy Fallon. I'm sorry for the guy. I don't know him, but what he portrays is this, right? And I'm not the only one saying it. Everybody, a lot of people say it, because that's the kind of personality that doesn't fall far from being a mask, a very well place mask that kind of fools nobody that actually understands what empathy is and what being a sincere person really is. Because we all have that intuition in ourselves. We can all see eyes. We just choose to ignore those instincts because that kind of intuition, because of convenience, it's not convenient for you to be against the person who has it all and wants even more. And that's the problem with our concept of success, because to me success sounds more like mediocrity because it's already been tried before. Hoarders and hoarders upon hoarders have actually hoarded quite a lot of resources and power and control and influence and over greed and over egotistical reasons, and it's sad to see the story repeat itself over and over and over again. One loveless greedy dork after another thinking they can outsmart the next guy, and what they're doing is they're just killing us. They're just making us understand that we can trust each other and that we should focus on the vain and the superficial instead of actually trying to be a community that cooperates to move forward with our intent of survival, because any moment now anything can happen. And I'm not trying to be like those guys that say oh, the end is near and you have to repent and the savior and whatever. I know I sound kind of like that, but that's not the real intent. I mean, the fact of the matter is that it's a lot of evidence that either a super volcano or a comet that we don't know about, that we cannot detect with our current understanding of technology, or a solar flare that just hits us in the right spot and brings everything to shit, because without internet we're going to be unable to communicate as easily, and it's scary to think about those things. But to me, it's more scary to think that I will be better when I die or after I die, because I'm wasting my time here. I'm not doing what I love to do, which is being with my family, making songs, and actually enjoying breathing and whatever it is that I get to eat that day. And I understand the pain that the people who can't provide that experience, at least that very minimal experience for their children, are going to be thinking about being called a terrorist because they take retribution at people who attack them first, and who are taking their resources, and who are damaging the experiences of a lot of people because they cannot afford to lose their job because it's scarce, and it's designed to be profitable to the extreme. We no longer take care of our workers. We rather just follow what daddy did because that's the best thing, apparently. Everything's going to shit because of that kind of attitude. And it's the people in power who are responsible for every single fucking problem that exists. I'm convinced of that. I mean, there wouldn't be no poverty, there would be no violence. Surely mental illness would go down a lot. We're accustoming ourselves to being okay with mental health being so evident, right? Because we keep on allowing, again, loveless dorks to run things instead of actually trusting in people who want to us to detect comics before we can actually do something about it, or we cannot do anything about it anymore, or prepare ourselves to stay connected, to stay learn how to not depend on something physical like the internet. I mean, we can do better. We are the biggest brain. We just have to actually show it. We have done it so before, but the example that I gave before is the guy who invented the motor for a car that could last you along. They basically not use any water to run, and it took you miles and miles and miles and miles, and they end up disappearing him or killing him because he wouldn't let up the invention because it's not profitable. We as a society need to keep on depending on the greed of people who don't like change because it's profitable not to like change, and not to like progress because it's not profitable for them to not win as much money or to share the wealth that the people who gives them the wealth create. And it's sad to think that we cannot pass beyond that point. We cannot actually learn to be civilized. We keep on doing the same monkey shit, and the people who keep on doing those monkey stuff are the first ones to think that they are, since they are religious, they are almighty, they are the chosen people, and they are not monkeys, or they're not related to monkeys, because how come 99.9% of the genes be the same, right? 90 something. I'm not really sure how much, but it's a lot. I mean, we're even kind of really similar genetically to a banana. It's kind of scary to think. And then you think about the universe, and then you think about the stars, and the things that are so far apart. I was just telling my brother the other day, I I, I didn't know that if you placed all the planets of the solar system beside, or one aside the other, and you put them in a row, they wouldn't even reach the moon. The moon. That's how far the moon is away from us. And he's like, nah, that's not true. I mean, you can Google it. It's really not something that I. But it's funny how that turns out to be. We cannot even understand the size of our universe, and we intend to understand something like a God that we invent, and that we pretend that it's all knowing and all loving, but it still allows bad things to happen. Bad things happen because of people whose greed is not controllable by them. Servants of greed, and servants of appearances, and servants of their parents' wishes, and servants of convenience, and not really knowing what respect is. They think fear is respect. They think that everybody saying yes to them is some kind of success in life. They don't get to be themselves because their parents didn't want to have them. Surely that's the reason why they didn't place enough attention on them. And I'm not judging. I know how hard it is to get out of that el que dirán, which is the one of my main focuses on my life, at least. What they will say is always the pillar of our decisions. What is going to be allowing me to get more likes, or to be more presumptuous of my deserving ability to screw over others, as long as I can get ahead financially. And we call that civilized. And that's why I believe that we do have the biggest brain that they think that they have. And they do have it, but they don't use it as well as they could. And it's a shame, because they're dragging every single fucking one of us along with them to the hole they're creating. And they're not only creating the financial kind of hole, but they're creating mistrust in people, and communities fall apart because of their strategic, again, publicity stunts, strategic mercadology, or I'm not sure if that's the word, but it's mercadología in Spanish. Marketing, I think it's called. And all those intents to keep us engaged and fearful and angry at people. That's why I do highlight when a person is a positive influence on society. I mention them because what they're doing is to me admirable, and something that could be beneficial to other people. It was beneficial to me at one point. So learning to accept that I'm not always right, that I can be wrong, is another thing that I think is important in one's life. Take accountability for your decisions, and learn from them, because otherwise you're gonna keep on making the same mistakes that made a lot of other people unhappy, because they never chose by themselves. They never did what they wanted to do. They never liked what they did, and they were always resentful of their parents because of the time and attention that they didn't spend on them. Instead of enjoying their company, they were met with gifts and expensive things, and cars, and comfortable house. And some of them even resent their parents because they feel that they never even wanted to have them. And that's a lot of, that doesn't only happen in high society circles, that happens everywhere. Middle class, lower class, poverty, everywhere. People are not okay because we keep on doing the same thing to our children that was done to us. we're not brave enough. I believe that the bravest people that I've known have actually accomplished that completely. They took themselves out of the equation because it's cycles that we don't need to repeat and that we don't need to teach our children that it's okay to go through. Life is not something that you need to suffer, and it's something that will occasionally have some suffering and pain. But that's the importance of understanding what death is and what life is, and trying to move away from any negative influence on your community, because that's how things start to move towards the mistrust and miscommunication that we keep on having with each other. Religiously, for example, as I was mentioning, it's supposed to be a reuniting experience with what you were created with, which is stardust, and a lot of elements and a lot of time that allowed us to be here. And dinosaurs, for example, they lasted a long time on Earth, and we're maybe 1,000,000 years old with all the ramifications that are actually traceable to a concept of what a man is at the moment. And we don't understand that. We think that we were built 6,000 years ago out of nothing. And I mean, as much as you want to believe that, that's the danger of actual religion. They force you to believe things that are not logical, and your brain starts to lose its path because it's thinking to itself that if we lie, if we cheat, as long as we can apologize and or repent in the end, and then we'll be okay, because our Savior will save us. And that's not the point of the story, man. It's about what we do to the people who try to warn us that unchecked ego is the cause of every single fucking problem. And if we don't leave it out of our decisions every day, then we're part of the problem as well. Because convenience and greed never amounts to anything positive. Never. Not even competition, because then we keep on trying to outsmart each other or out cheat each other, instead of actually doing real cooperation. Not as a business, but as actual cooperation towards the better good. The grandeur of human capabilities relies there, not in greed and existence of wealth and luxury. I mean, you can like luxury. I would work to provide you some kind of luxury, but just don't be a fucking dick. As a civilized human entity, we should be aware that we don't even fucking need money. Why are we allowing greedy fuckers to think that they can just hoard things? Like if they were hoarding jars of piss, or just jars of poop, or jars of spit, or newspapers, or magazines, or anything that you get to hoard it. And if you think that that's a sickness, but hoarding wealth is not, then I got news for you, man. It's the same thing. And it's the reason that we keep on lying to each other, and instead of cooperating. Why are we fighting over things that are the same? We have cloths with colors, we have imaginary lines dividing us, and we have Belic hymns being sung as a reason to die, when there should not be a reason to die over somebody else's greed. Because what war is us being able to keep on funding the people who make guns, the people who benefit from those transactions, the people in power who allow that to happen because they are able to do some insider trading themselves, and it doesn't matter because they are famous or they are influential, right? So that's okay. And there's where I fall back into music. People like Pete Holmes were people like me. I mean, I have smiled fakely before. I have felt how trying to be fake is, how it feels inside, and I just didn't like any of that, and I just decided to not do it anymore. I was called, I'm still called whatever kind of names, right? Because I don't have much money, but I mean, I'm happy otherwise. I have every single other thing that I can or I could have actually asked for. Because everything that I've asked for since I was little, I've gotten so far. And it's through making hard decisions that I was able to accomplish that. I'm 100% certain of that, and I probably will talk about those experiences later on. But the point is here that you don't have to feel that way, because that leads to you not caring about your own existence being fulfillful or being something that fills you with the sense of being here and enjoying the what you do, what you love, who you are with, and who you choose to create if you choose to do so. There's no other way to be successful in life than that. If you are able to do that, believe me, I'm happy as I can be, and I'm kind of in debt, and I am still paying for my wife's operation, but it doesn't matter, man. What matters is that she's here with me right now, that I love her and that she loves me, and that we have a child that we're trying to educate the best way that we can. We follow advice. We do whatever it takes to have him be well in all sorts of aspects. Maybe sometimes I'm a bit harsh with him, but he has a big ego. If we don't learn to control that, it's gonna be hard for me to guide him in life as it is my responsibility. And I don't want to leave any trauma on him about not being there for him or not saying I'm sorry, because I was just listening to Pete Holmes, and he has a routine there that actually talks about that kind of thing, right? How we were not able to receive an apology from our parents for some of the stuff that they did to us. And I'm not talking abuse necessarily, right, or anything like that, but it includes that. We are not able to make ourselves understand that that's important. That makes the connection stronger. To apologize, to say I'm sorry, to say thank you, to be empathetic with your neighbor, with your family, with yourself. And it's important that we stop confusing that kind of intent with being convenient. Because if I give you a hand, you're gonna give me a hand later on. That doesn't matter. I assure you that whenever you help because you want to help and because you are able to help, then once you do it, and once the activity is complete, and once the help is done, then you'll feel a lot better than if you did win $1 million tomorrow in the lottery. Because it's not going to be probably the same intensity, but the feeling's going to run out if you don't manage it well. And same goes with the emotion, right? If you learn to enjoy those kind of moments, then the reward will be eternal until you actually fucking die, which is going to happen one day. And it shouldn't scare you. It shouldn't lead you to believe that you can have a better life after you die. It shouldn't be that kind of a deal. It's not worth it to lose your time like that. So yeah, that's the point of this video. Just Pete, I'm a big fan. I just don't do another talk show, man. I mean, probably never gonna hear this, but I love your stuff, man, really. And everyone else, if you get to hear this, I really hope that you enjoy your day. It's all about that, really. Enjoy your day, enjoy your life, and everything will be okay in the end if we learn to just not hate each other over things that don't matter, that only matter for the people who are profiting out of this, either through influence or convenience or whatever their intent is. We shouldn't be allowing ourselves to trust in those people anymore, to take over our resources and taxes and do whatever the fuck they want with them. Even actually creating wars to distract us from the fact that they are pedophiles and criminals that should be in a mental asylum getting assistance with their mental health, not controlling our whole system. It's scary to think that we keep on doing that. So yeah, we're going to talk about the 85 towards today spiral that sucks, but we'll do it another time. I'm running out of memory. Have a great day. Goodbye.